What really happened to Lisa Kelly after Ice Road Truckers? She was the face of the show, then suddenly, she vanished. No warning, no goodbye. From crushing burnout to brutal behind-the-scenes exploitation, this isn't the story you've been told. And what she just revealed about how she was treated will change the way you see reality TV forever. Stick around, because this goes way deeper than anyone expected. Imagine steering 60,000 pounds of steel over a frozen sheet of water. Every mile a gamble, every crack in the ice, a reminder that one wrong move could mean disaster. But for Lisa Kelly, the real danger wasn't just on the road. It was what waited when the cameras stopped rolling. This is the untold story of a woman who conquered the most treacherous highways on Earth, only to face a storm that couldn't be mapped. A storm inside. When Ice Road Truckers premiered in 2007, it wasn't just another reality show. It was raw, harsh, completely unpredictable. Viewers weren't watching staged drama. They were witnessing survival. The ice roads of northern Canada and Alaska weren't just dangerous. They were temporary veins of commerce, built over frozen rivers that could betray a driver at any moment. No guardrails, no second chances. And as engines roared over cracking ice and temperatures plunged to life-threatening lows, the show became a magnetic pull for millions. The tension was real. From -40-degree winds to mechanical meltdowns in the middle of nowhere, the drivers were stretched to their limits. Then came Alaska's Dalton Highway. 400 miles of pure isolation, brutal climbs, and turns that tested every ounce of nerve. But amidst the growl of diesel engines and the endless whiteouts, something unexpected happened. A new driver showed up, and everything changed. Lisa Kelly wasn't what anyone expected. Petite, soft-spoken, and composed, she was the last person you'd think would survive the Dalton. But that's the thing. Lisa didn't just survive. She thrived. And from the moment she stepped into that truck, viewers couldn't look away. She wasn't there to prove anything. She was just there to do the job. And she did it better than most. With snow whipping across the windshield and chains wrapped around frozen tires, Lisa Kelly became the story people didn't know they needed. There's a reason her presence electrified the screen. She never leaned into gimmicks. She didn't play the underdog. Instead, she let her actions speak. Quiet grit, sharp instincts, and a relentless drive to keep going, no matter the odds. While others shouted or postured, Lisa focused. And that calm energy, that unshakable presence, it drew people in. Suddenly, Ice Road Truckers wasn't just about conquering nature. It was about rewriting expectations, breaking barriers, making space where none had existed before. Long before the fame, though, Lisa's story began in a place almost as wild as the roads she'd one day drive. Born in Michigan but raised in the remote Alaskan town of Sterling, her childhood wasn't filled with bright lights or fast cars. It was farmland, solitude, and long winters. An upbringing that quietly forged her resilience. There were no shortcuts in that life. Just chores, rough weather, and a constant lesson. If something's broken, fix it yourself. She didn't always know she'd end up in a truck. In fact, her early jobs were all over the map. Gas stations, motocross racing, pizza delivery. But somewhere along the way, behind the wheel of a school bus, she discovered something surprising. She loved driving. Not for the thrill, but for the control, the rhythm, and the responsibility. And unlike most people, Lisa didn't ignore that feeling. She followed it. Using her time as a bus driver, she earned her CDL license and knocked on the doors of the male-dominated trucking world. Her first big break came with Carlisle Transportation, an Alaskan company known for sending drivers into the harshest conditions imaginable. Lisa didn't walk in looking for special treatment. She knew she had to work twice as hard to be taken seriously, and she did. Loading cargo, mastering routes, keeping quiet and learning fast. No spotlight, just steady determination. That same quiet fire is what eventually brought her to Ice Road Truckers. And when she joined the cast, she didn't just fit in, she raised the bar. She became the calm center of the storm. And that made her a perfect candidate for the show's high-octane spin-off, Deadliest Roads. Suddenly, Lisa was halfway around the world, navigating narrow cliff roads in the Himalayas, where one misstep meant hundreds of feet of open air. No guardrails, no mercy, just blind corners and constant danger. She didn't flinch. Her success overseas wasn't a fluke. After India, she faced South America's winding passes and dizzying elevations. Her performance there confirmed it. Lisa Kelly wasn't just a reality TV star. She was a global symbol of endurance. By 2010, her name had spread far beyond fans of Ice Road Truckers. She had become an icon for anyone who ever felt overlooked, then decided to prove the world wrong. But with fame came pressure. And pressure doesn't always show up on screen. As her image graced magazine covers and her face became a familiar one to millions, Lisa struggled with the weight of it all. Long shoots, endless interviews, and the silent expectations of fans who saw her as unbreakable. Yet behind that composed exterior, cracks were forming. And while viewers marveled at her strength, few noticed the cost of being a trailblazer. What no one saw coming was how quietly she'd leave. No tabloid scandal, no dramatic exit. Just a slow fade from the spotlight. A disappearance that left fans wondering, what happened to Lisa Kelly? That question is what drives the rest of this story. It all changed the moment she stepped onto that late show stage. Lisa Kelly, usually more comfortable in a rig than in a green room, sat opposite David Letterman and spoke with a kind of humble confidence that made you lean in. Her stories weren't polished showbiz anecdotes, they were raw slices of real life. But even as the audience laughed at her dry humor and admired her courage, something more complex was happening beneath the surface. Just days later, Esquire crowned her the sexiest trucker alive, pairing her with a glossy photo spread that raised eyebrows in more ways than one. It was praise, sure, but also a jarring collision of grit and glamour. A reminder that the industry had plans for her beyond the driver's seat. For Lisa, who never sought fame, this spotlight was more of a spotlight trap. She wasn't chasing headlines. She was just doing her job, and doing it better than most. But Hollywood has a way of taking real people and turning them into narratives, branding them, marketing them. She was being hailed as a trailblazer, yet boxed into something that felt alien. All she wanted was to drive, not pose. But the world had already decided she was a celebrity. And that meant the old rhythms of trucking, long roads, quiet cabins, freedom, were now replaced with packed itineraries, tight shoot days, and endless interviews. The downtime that once recharged her soul was replaced with noise. The back-to-back grind of Ice Road Truckers and its spin-off, Deadliest Roads, pushed her to the edge. It wasn't just the physical strain of brutal terrains, it was the emotional cost of constantly performing under the lens. She later shared that it was never about walking away in anger. It was fatigue, pure and simple. She needed space. She needed stillness. And for a woman whose strength had always been her resilience, admitting she needed a break wasn't weakness. It was survival. So when Season 6 aired and Lisa Kelly was nowhere to be seen, fans were blindsided. How could someone so integral to the series simply vanish? Rumors flooded the internet. Did she fall out with producers? Was there a dispute behind closed doors? The whispers spread fast, but the truth was far more grounded and far more human. Producer Tom Beers finally addressed it. Lisa had been asked to return. She simply declined. No scandal, no dramatic fallout. Just a woman choosing to reclaim her peace. But that decision peeled back the curtain on what reality TV rarely admits: the toll it takes on real people. Lisa wasn't just hauling freight. She was navigating camera crews, production delays, international shoots, and a world that constantly wanted more from her. And as the only female lead on the show, that pressure carried an extra weight. She had become a symbol, whether she wanted it or not, and that symbol was now suffocating the person. In one quiet interview, she said it plainly, "I just wanted to do my job, go home, and be normal." And that sentence speaks volumes. Because what do you do when your ordinary becomes extraordinary to everyone but you? The cameras never show the quiet breakdowns, the emotional wear, the longing to just be unseen. Lisa Kelly's choice to step away wasn't retreat. It was a boundary drawn in bold lines. And in doing so, she revealed a heartbreaking truth. Sometimes, even the strongest need to stop and catch their breath. Yet the story didn't end there. When she returned in season 7, there was no press conference, no promotional campaign. She just showed up, back in the truck, back on the ice, back to doing what she loved. That comeback wasn't just about the show. It was about reclaiming the part of herself that fame tried to consume. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was back to thriving, quietly, confidently, commandingly. And over the final seasons of Ice Road Truckers, she became the heartbeat of the series. More than 80 episodes featured her grit, her grace, her unmatched ability to navigate danger without losing her cool. She didn't just keep up, she led the charge. Her fellow truckers respected her not because she was famous, but because she had earned it mile by mile. And viewers, they saw themselves in her resolve, in her humanity. But even when the final credits rolled in 2017, Lisa's story didn't fade. While others disappeared from the public eye, she pivoted. She didn't chase fame, but she didn't vanish either. Instead, she found balance on her own terms. Still trucking, still active in the industry, but without the glare of reality TV. She lent her name and voice to the 2023 PC game Alaskan Road Truckers, connecting with a new generation of fans in a medium that let her tell her story her way. On YouTube and social media, she stayed present but grounded, offering glimpses, not performances. It's that rare kind of post-show authenticity that fans crave but rarely get. And in a landscape littered with manufactured personas, Lisa's realness continues to shine. Her final seasons weren't just about tougher roads. They were about a woman who had grown into her power, sharpened by experience, but not jaded by it. She wasn't the breakout star anymore. She was the anchor. So when she finally stepped away for good, there was no tragedy in it, only clarity. She had given everything she could to the road and to the audience. And when it was time to turn off the cameras, she did it with the same quiet control that had defined her all along. Still behind the wheel, still on her own terms. Lisa Kelly didn't just survive reality TV. She drove straight through it, leaving her own trail behind. Long after Ice Road Truckers wrapped, Lisa's name still echoed in truck stops and trade shows, in forums and fan edits across the globe. It wasn't just about horsepower or cold roads. It was about her grit. Her 16-part industrial collaboration wasn't a flashy promo. It was raw, lived reality. Each moment behind the wheel, fixing engines in sub-zero temps, or hauling gear across unforgiving Alaskan paths, told a story far beyond branding. Lisa turned heavy machinery into a personal anthem, not just endorsing products but embodying a lifestyle most couldn't fake if they tried. But when the cameras shut off and the spotlight dimmed, she didn't spiral or fade. She returned to her first love: horses. Before she was a face on television, she was just a young woman deeply rooted in nature, animals, and freedom. With no need for applause, Lisa carved out a quiet sanctuary in Alaska, where she began training and rescuing horses. That wasn't a withdrawal. It was her reclaiming peace after years of public speed and chaos. Her days were no longer ruled by call sheets and cross-country routes, but by early mornings in a stable and long rides through the wilderness. Yet the call of the road never left her entirely. She continued to attend trucking expos around the world, from the frosty roads of the UK to lively gatherings in Ireland, where crowds didn't just see a reality star, they saw a symbol of perseverance. Each handshake, every photo op, was a connection to a community that never forgot her. Even off-screen, she stayed true to the road, driving her Freightliner Coronado 122 SD, a truck known for its raw power and resilience, much like her career. And with every load she took, every mountain pass she conquered, she proved she never needed a camera to validate her. Lisa Kelly never tried to reinvent herself. She didn't chase headlines or a flashy reboot. She leaned into what made her iconic in the first place: hard work, humility, and consistency. That's where her legacy lives. But behind that legacy, there was struggle, the kind no script could cover. Behind the scenes, Lisa battled an industry that didn't always respect her presence. In a candid moment, she admitted something that stunned her fans. During the early seasons of Ice Road Truckers, she wasn't paid at all. That revelation hit like a freight train. The producers had labeled her eye candy, reducing her skill to something superficial. But Lisa wasn't there to play a part. She doubled down, pushed through every doubter, and let her driving speak louder than the editing room ever could. For women in male-dominated industries, every misstep is magnified. Lisa felt that. She spoke of the double standards, of how every error she made was treated like a referendum on women in trucking. But she never crumbled under it. She just kept showing up. She didn't need to be loud to be noticed. She just had to be better. And she was. Reality television added another layer of difficulty. Fame was a double-edged blade. Lisa's every move was captured, often manipulated to fit dramatic arcs that didn't reflect her truth. What fans didn't always see were the moments where producers altered storylines to fit a more palatable narrative. Lisa wasn't a damsel nor a rebel, just a woman doing a hard job in harder conditions. And yet, the world got to see only fragments of her. Even as she grew frustrated with the way she was portrayed, she remained dedicated to the road, letting her tire tracks do the talking. By 2021, the thought of returning to the show wasn't out of the question. Lisa said it herself. She'd consider it if the timing was right. Fans were hopeful. So were a few original cast members. But then everything stopped. The global pandemic slammed the brakes on any talk of a revival. Crews couldn't travel, logistics turned chaotic, and any ice road filming became a logistical nightmare. Yet Lisa's legacy didn't fade. Her old episodes, now readily streamed on digital platforms, found new life. New fans, young and old, discovered her for the first time. And they didn't see a novelty. They saw a powerhouse. Off-screen, Lisa continued to appear at select events, never fully stepping away from the trucking world. But she never chased clout. She didn't pivot to drama or start controversy for clicks. Her presence was quiet, confident, and steady, like the woman herself. That rare authenticity made her stand out, even in a sea of reality stars who came and went like snow flurries. Lisa endured, not because she sought fame, but because she represented something people still crave: the real deal. And while Lisa never sought to be a financial mogul, her career opened doors. Over the years, she's driven luxury trucks customized with premium fittings, traveled internationally with VIP accommodations, and partnered with select brands like Dello and Mobile Delvac. Though not flashy, she's reportedly owned mid-luxury vehicles like the Ford Raptor for daily use. She has sported rugged high-end timepieces like Casio G-Shock Mudmasters, fit for extreme weather. She redefined what it means to walk, or drive, away with your head held high. Even after Ice Road Truckers ended, she kept going, not for fame, but for the love of the road. If Lisa's story moved you, inspired you, or even surprised you, hit that like button. Drop a comment with your favorite Lisa moment, or a reality TV star you want us to dig into next. And make sure you subscribe. More untold celebrity stories are just around the corner. Because sometimes, the toughest road leads to the truest legacy. And Lisa Kelly? She didn't just drive through the ice. She made history in the rear view,